Welcome everybody. Today we're here to talk about content tags in Apache Superset. This is a new feature you might have heard a little bit about either on Slack or on our 3.0 release notes that came out not so long ago. But today we want to give a demo of what's new and improved here and just kind of give you a tour of the feature in general. And for brief introductions, my name is Evan Rusakis. I'm a Superset PMC member, and I just do a lot of community work in the Superset community. I've probably nagged you on Slack at some point if you're on there, and work at Preset, doing all sorts of things. So, and then I'm joined today by Sophie Yu, who's leading product at Preset and is also a Superset committer and does all sorts of stuff with the community as well. So thank you for joining us today, Sophie. And a few things we usually say at the beginning of these. First off, you should be on Superset Slack if you're not already. So let me go ahead and drop a link in the chat with an invitation for anyone that's not on there. You're welcome to join us. There's somewhere between 12 and 13,000 people on there, so you're in good company, and we'd love to see that number go up. And you can ask us questions there after this webinar if we don't address the questions that you ask during it. You can also email us directly if that's your preferred method. But for now, during this, I just want to point out that the chat, which obviously works, thank you for testing that, is just for you guys to kind of talk amongst yourselves and answer each other's questions if you want. But Sophie and I will probably not be answering questions directly from there. Instead, if you look at your Zoom toolbar, you'll see a little button for Q&A. And that is the correct place to answer questions, because then we can address them in a more orderly manner when it's, befitting the slides. So, all right, pressing on. Today, we're here to talk about tagging. So this is kind of a 101. There's probably some other little granular things we can get into, but we can answer those in questions, or if anybody has follow-up requests, we're happy to hear those. What we will cover is why tags. People ask for other things like folders, so we'll get into that comparison. We're going to do a demo of the feature and just give the whirlwind tour of things, and we'll go into where the feature is at in terms of releases and progress and work left to be done. And then we'll just take your Q&A at the end, and we might not need the entire time slot, so maybe you'll get some time back depending on how it all goes. We'll see. So why tags? A lot of people ask, when am I going to be able to organize my dashboards and charts and queries and things like that into folders? But this is one of those things where we took a somewhat opinionated stance. It's not that folders can't or won't be done, but we think tags are more flexible. The reason for that is that if you build folders as a feature, then every bit of content has a single parent in a hierarchical manner. And you're kind of beholden to that pattern. It's very rigid, which some people like, I admit, but we find that tags are more flexible because you can actually have, you can consider them like folders. You can even build a UI that feels like folders if you want to get into that. But a piece of content can exist in more than one category, and you can kind of drill through these tags as filters to get to the thing you're looking for in a number of different means. So we think it's more flexible, more approachable. And then the other thing is it's easy to scale and prune and maintain these tags. So by pruning, I mean, let's say you have a folder that's, I don't know, we'll just call it financial, and you put a bunch of financial charts and dashboards in there. If you deleted that folder because you wanted to call it, finance Q1 or something, then you could, you would delete that folder and your content would essentially kind of flatten out, and you would need to refolderize it. But with tags, you can apply a secondary tag, you can apply a third tag or more, and just kind of navigate those as you will. I see someone is raising their hand, but I don't think we're going to pass the mic live right now. But if you want to answer a question in Q&A, please feel free. And in fact, no one has yet, so feel free to drop like a test question in there if you want. And of course, you can maintain these tags as well. So you can kind of change the nomenclature of these things. I guess that's true for folders too, but it's very easy for teams of people to add tags, change tags, remove tags without kind of being destructive on each other's organizational efforts. And third, this is perhaps most important, is it came from open source. The Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity, or the CCCS, were the original authors of this feature. They needed it. They liked this approach, and they contributed it. So you might have heard us rattle on before about how this project is open source, and anyone can drop a proposal or open a PR and add a feature. And this is one of those great cases where the community really kicked off the feature, added the feature flag, and then more folks from the community, including some of us at Preset, contributed to polishing that. So with that, let's just go ahead and dive right into the demo. I'm going to hand the screen over to Sophie, who's just going to show us around. Thank you, Sophie.
Okay, so I'm going to give a bit of a demo on tags. There we go. So right now, the tags that we have in Superset and Preset, you can apply them on charts, dashboards, and saved queries. So I'm going to take you through how you can do that. So first, I am on the tags page. You get to it by going through settings and clicking through to the tags page. This is where you're going to be able to see all the tags that you have created in your Superset instance or your preset workspace. Right now, I just have one tag. If you want to create a new tag, you go up here to the tag section. You can name your tag. I'm going to call it guitar stores. We have some guitar stores that we have a bunch of dashboards on. And then right here from this modal, I can go ahead and directly select any dashboards, charts, or queries that I want to apply the tag to. So this is a good way when you're first setting up a tag and you have a bunch of content that you already want to tag, you can add it from here. So let's say add it to the sales dashboard and dashboard. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and add this tag to these two dashboards for now. I could do the same thing for charts and queries. Right now, the permissions that we have on creating tags, the default permissions that are set up is that admins can create tags. That's based on some feedback that we heard from organizations that we talked to that had some concerns about tags getting a little bit out of control or a little unwieldy. If everyone is creating tags, you sometimes see duplicate tags or tags that are really similar in name that are just getting created by different people that don't realize there's already a tag. So right now the permission that we have set up is that only admins can create, but then anybody that is owner of the content can tag that relevant piece of content. And I can show you how to do that in a second. So yeah, here I created this new tag. I have my two dashboards already tagged. That's how I could tag it from the tags page. I'm gonna go switch over to the list views. So here from any of the list views, either charts, dashboards, or queries, you can do this tagging the same way. The first way I'm going to show is you can bulk select a bunch of your content and tag your content that way. So let's say I want to tag all these guitar store charts. So I can select a bunch of charts that I want to tag, and then once I'm in that bulk select mode, I see up here there's an add tag option. And that's where I can go ahead and add the tag to all the pieces of content that I selected. So that's also another good way upon the, when we first launch tags, if you want to go ahead and tag a lot of the content that you have in your system, you can use that bulk tagging option. Again, same thing. You do it the same way for charts, dashboards, and queries. So do it that way. And then the other way you can tag individual items or individual pieces of content is from this the properties of your charts or dashboards. You can go ahead and open up your properties for your charts, and if you are an owner of that piece of content, you can tag it. So that's for charts, and same thing on dashboards. If I were to go to dashboards, and if I wanted to tag this, for example, I'm an owner or an admin, I can go ahead and tag this with the content. Yeah, and then once I have all my content, all the content that I have tagged, I can go ahead and click on any of these tags anywhere you see them. So whether it's from the dashboards list view, the charts list view, or the tags page that we saw, anywhere that you see the tags, you can click onto that, and that will take you to the focus tag page just for that tag. So you can see all of the pieces of content that I've tagged with the Guitar Store data, the Guitar Store tag. And then this is also a page that would be good if you ever want to like link someone directly, someone that wants to see just Guitar Store data, you could link them directly into this tag page and you can show them just the content that is tagged with that tag, and then they don't even have to worry about everything else that's on the charts page or the dashboards page. And then from any of these list views, you can also search for tags here and search and filter by everything that you have with a specific tag. So that's a quick demo of how to use tags. Some examples of some ways that you can organize your content. You could organize it by your organizational structure. So if you want to tag things by department, or if you want to tag a group of content that's, general dashboards for everybody to view. You could also tag things based on the state of them in presets. So if things are certified, if things are still in draft mode, works in progress, you could use those tags. If you have any templates that you want to sort into, have point people to specific templates that you have, or you could always do tags by project or product line, anything related to a specific product.
All right. Let's see. So I think that's the bulk of it. It's a quick tour. That does look like it's leading to a handful of questions. So we'll go ahead and start to address those. And please feel free to ask more in the Q&A tab so we can track them and share the answers out. But one person is saying that they're not currently seeing the tags menu item under settings and asking if it's live. So we'll get into that in the next few slides. Let me actually just get back to the slides. That's the better way to go about this. Okay. So yeah, here's the state of tags, which is what some of you are asking for. Right now, the feature is behind a feature flag. That feature is tagging underscore system. You can't quite see the underscore there, but it is there. And if you're running Superset 3.0, then that feature flag does exist. It's also available on the master branch if you're just pulling Superset from the repository. And I'm saying it's not released yet here, which is a little funny because basically what came out in 3.0 is kind of an alpha feature or a beta feature, depending on where you draw that line. And I did mention it in the 3.0 release notes blog that the feature flag exists and the feature is there, but it's not in the polished state that you're seeing it in this demo. So a lot of contributions have been made since the release of 3.0. And so if you are running off of official releases, then we'll get into the release roadmap on the next slide, but it's coming soon. And if you happen to be a preset customer that's using Superset by way of preset workspaces, then there is some beta testing of this going on. Preset tends to run a little closer to master, or a lot closer to master in some cases than official Apache Superset releases. So we're testing the feature now, and it'll be coming to general availability in the coming weeks, let's say. And then work in progress, there are a few little details that are getting dialed in. So we're stabilizing a few little nuances of it, like tagging saved queries, for example, which is part of the feature, but just might need a little more testing and love. And then as far as enhancements go, we do have a few things that we're working on, and we'll show you a slide that includes a little bit of this that's particular to preset. And then it's also worth saying that one of the questions that came up is, is there an ability to limit access by tags? And right now, this feature is not tied to any special granting of RBAC permissions on tagged content. This is something that's kind of in consideration. So if anyone here is interested in proposing how that ought to work, or even wants to engineer such a feature, then I would advise opening a thread on either the Superset Slack workspace, or you can open a GitHub discussion under the ideas variety of content there. And just kind of drop your idea and we can have a discussion about it and see if there's a good way to collaborate. There's also going to be a SIP working session, SIP being superset improvement proposals, that Sophie and I are going to be running in the coming weeks. I'll make announcements about that, but that's a good place to get involved with these larger efforts too. And as far as releases, the rest of this feature will likely be in a future release that takes a cut off of the master branch on GitHub. That could happen in a 2.2 release, but that's not super likely. It's looking like it'll probably land either in a 3.1 release, which would include new features. And in that case, the feature flag would likely be off by default, or it could be in 4.0, which is in discussion, but not too far off on the radar. And if it does land in 4.0, the feature flag would likely be on by then. I think it'll be stable. And then, of course, one of the most important things on the roadmap of actually getting this thing out the door is testing and feedback. So that's where you all come in. Whether you want to test on the repo itself and, you know, a very current code base, or if you want to test the upcoming Apache releases, you please join the Apache Superset Dev emailing list, and you can vote on those release candidates when they come out. So about that preset enhancement, let's go ahead and talk to that. I'll hand the mic back to Sophie.
Yeah, so on the preset side, we were working on some other enhancements for tags. Here's a quick mock-up of what it will look like. So first, on the top of the page there, under the blue section, you see that there's a marketing team, a section called marketing team, and you'll be able to, so this is an improvement in preset where you'll be able to pin some of the tags that you're most interested in to your homepage. So I could pin up to 3 tags here, and it will show me the content in that tag. So if I'm part of the marketing team, I might want to pin that marketing tab. So when I come back to preset on my homepage, I see that I see the content and I get a preview of the content in the tab right away. And then in the middle of the workspace, just under that, you see a thin little toolbar for browsing by tag. And so that's where you can see tags that are used in the org, and you can use that as a quick jumping off point into anything that is tagged with that particular piece of content. So if I were to click on finance there, I would get it into the page for anything that's tagged with the finance content, any charts, dashboards, or queries. So that's a really quick way to get into any like a more focused view of the content related to a specific tag. So yeah, these are coming in the next couple of weeks, or next couple of weeks to preset.
Right, cool. And relevant to how Superset users can access this, somebody was saying that they can't see the tags button or the list item under settings. So yeah, just make sure you have that feature flag turned on. Make sure you're running 3.0 or running off master, and those are the 2 ways to see it. Although the feature set may vary depending on how new and fresh your code base is. Then let's see. Someone says they're using it on 3.0, the official release, but not seeing the plus tag button. So in that case, that's kind of the feature that's been improved since 3.0 came out. So you can actually go to that top right menu, the settings menu, and pick the tags page there, and you can hopefully see and edit all your tags there. And then we've got one. Let's see. Is there support for tag namespaces, e.g. status : draft, status : cleaned? I don't think there's any limitation on characters per se. I imagine we support most things, probably UTF-8. I don't know if we know the technical answer to that, but I would imagine so. So I think you can just use them that way. And then when you search for tags, you could search for the prefix, and that should work. Don't know if you have any differing opinion there, Sophie, but jump in if I'm making stuff up. And then I think you might have answered a question or two live. If there's anything you want to, or via text, I don't know if there's anything you want to recap.
On the last question around filtering, right now the filters just support one tag, but could be a future improvement. Okay.
And somebody was asking if there is a way to add a hierarchy to these tags so you can kind of drill into them in a folder-ish way. And the answer is not right now, but again, we're open to proposals. So if you do, I think tags in theory, as far as how they're kind of implemented, could evolve into a folder-ish feature eventually, but that's not currently on the roadmap. So if anybody wants to talk about those proposals or getting things onto the roadmap, then again, come to our SIP session, which is eventually going to be more of a roadmap planning session. Somebody's asking about a tags catalog, how to manage and onboard teams to all the tags created. So I think if since they're not tied to RBAC, my belief is that if you just go to the tags page, all of the available tags can just be discoverable right there. But
The tax page right now is for admins, just because of the permissions of some of the actions that you can take there. But from the homepage, people will be able to see the tags that you've created, and then if you started to apply them to these are the content, you should be able to see them in the list views as well.
Yeah, and I think this is again something that could be continually kind of improved and designed around. I think this as a feature is going to grow all sorts of interesting roots in the product as people begin to utilize it in part of their daily workflows, and we find out how to build new efficiencies and features around it. Yeah, for non-admin folks, if are they able to access a catalog of these tags? I guess currently not yet.
They would be able to see it from the homepage, so that's the best place for them.
Yeah, and that's on preset specifically. So yeah, there's not a feature for that in open source Superset as of yet. But again, we're always open to proposals.
Can you delete a tag? Yes, you can delete a tag if it is in use. You do get kind of a confirmation to make sure you do want to delete it, and then if you do delete it, it doesn't delete any other content. It just removes the tag from that content. And that's an admin only action right now to delete a tag.
Yeah, and again, I think that's one of the areas where this is just kind of simpler than a folder-based approach. On your computer, if you delete a folder, typically everything goes with it, or you would have to move it up to the parent folder and things get weird. So this is a little more straightforward. Okay, looks like we've gotten through the questions. If anybody else has any last minute ones, go ahead and throw them in. Otherwise, we'll give everybody a little bit of time back. And if you want to follow up with us, please, again, join the Slack workspace. Let me drop the link to that one more time in the chat. And you can email us directly if you have any questions, or DM us on Slack, of course. There is a good question. Somebody's asking, when do we expect the Superset 3.1 release? There's not a great timeline on that yet. What we are trying to do is get 3.0.x patch releases out on a very regular cadence right now. And we're starting to plan around 4.0, which will include a lot of proposals and things. So we're trying to figure out how that's all going to work. 3.1 would just kind of come in the middle. I think it's going to be one of these things that will happen a little bit organically when there's kind of a critical mass and a need for it. So if there is any clamoring for that, then by all means, you can check out the Superset community calendar, which is on the Superset website under the resources tab. And there's a release strategy meeting. So I would encourage people to come to that if they want to get continual updates on release timelines or advocate for anything making its way into a release. So basically, we don't know yet, but it could happen in between now and 4.0. Cool. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I hope you try out tagging, give us feedback, let us know how we can improve it, drop those design proposals. And of course, if you find any bugs, drop them on GitHub issues so we can better address them. Thank you, Sophie, for giving us the tour, and thank you all for joining. Have a good one.